Hello, I'm Nathan Leahy, the Field Service and Sales Engineer for Weldability, SIF and Extractability, responsible for the service, testing and repair of our welding machines, welding fume extraction units and our air monitoring device, the ProtectoScan EDI. What I'm going to show you today is how to set up your EDI unit from scratch in the event that an engineer is unable to attend site in order to set it up for you, or in the event that you've declined an engineer to visit site. First of all, what you'll need to do is plug in your EDI unit and screw on the attached wireless antenna that was included in the packaging, and you'll also need to pull out the envelope that's got two manuals, one large and one small, that came inside the box. And you'll just need to grab the small manual. I believe it's just a single page, and that should give you some information that you'll need in order to connect to the unit. So first of all, once the machine is plugged in and booted up, we'll need to connect to it. So what you'll want to do is on your laptop, tablet, phone, it will work on anything that's got a wireless connection, is go to your wireless connections and find the wireless broadcast that says ProtectoScan EDI. These 5 numbers will change depending on your device. So we'll just press connect on that. And the password you'll need to connect to it is on the small manual in the envelope at the bottom. So what I'll do is I'll just connect to this now. If you do lose your manual, you can contact us and we'll send you a fresh copy. So we'll just connect to the EDI and we'll press no on here. Now what you'll find is once you've connected to the ProtectoScan EDI unit is you'll no longer be connected to your work, school or home wireless. So you'll no longer have internet access, but we'll resolve that in a second when we connect the unit to our network. So that will take probably a minute or two once it's connected, and you'll need to navigate to it once it's complete using a very specific web address, and this is the same on all EDI units to start with, and that is 192.168.12.1, and it will show you this splash page here. So first thing we need to do is press enter. And we're presented with just some basic summary information on what it's currently monitoring. You can see that fire detection and motion detection, these are add-ons, they're currently disabled. The base unit just comes with dust, noise, temperature and humidity monitoring. It will show you what the levels are currently, and it will also show you which one's being monitored with the traffic light system LED, which you'll notice that when you turn the machine on, it had a green LED on the front and back. We can click on each of these individual things and it would give us some data from the last 30 seconds, and you can see that our level down here is pretty much at 0, and it then shows you the maximum respirable and breathable amounts of dust. And you can do that with these as well. But for the moment, we'll just go to the settings by clicking this cog up in the top right hand corner here. So the first thing we've got is which particular thing you want the LED to monitor. So at the moment I've got it monitoring dust exposure. So if it hits 2 milligrams, the LED will go orange, and if it hits 5 milligrams, the LED will go red. If you as a company weren't interested in monitoring dust exposure, you could turn that off and perhaps switch it to noise instead. So it will be green as long as it's below 80 decibels, and once it hits 80 it will turn red. It can't monitor more than one thing on the traffic light system at once, because otherwise if you had all 4 monitoring and you saw the machine was red, you wouldn't know what it was red for. So it does monitor everything, and it will email alerts for everything, but the traffic light system will only function for one thing at once. And you can see what I've done here is I've typed in my email address so that it will send me an email when any of these things reach their respective limits. Once you've put in your email address here and you've selected the unit that you want it to measure and selected your country, you will need to press save. If you press the reset to factory settings because you found that your unit already has something in there and you want to get rid of it, it will disconnect you from the EDI unit. So when you press this, you'll probably find that none of these buttons will respond anymore, and what you'll need to do is you'll need to go to your connection and press the connect button down here. Next up, we can see that there is a couple of sort of unnamed things down here. This is for a add-on kit called the Air Tracker. If you do have an Air Tracker connected, you can set up some relays so that if any of these alerts do go off, you can set it so it attaches to a relay that's connected to, say, a siren or some sprinklers or a large light, so that it visually or audio warning to tell you that you've reached your limits. But that's just an add-on kit, and then you can make it so it goes on a delay, and you can also make it so that the relay doesn't go off more than once every 5 minutes. So if you had a siren attached to your relay, you wouldn't want it going off every 30 seconds if there was a problem. But if it were going off and you were constantly getting emails, then there is a problem that you need to resolve. The service section you can ignore. That's just for engineers who will need to visit site once a year to recalibrate the sensor or replace the sensor. The Wi-Fi transmission power is fairly important if you do find yourself outside of the UK. Wireless transmission channels are different in other countries, so if this was installed in France, you would need to change it to France, otherwise you might find that you can't connect to it, or that it's not talking very well with other things. And here we have the Wi-Fi connection section. Now this is fairly simple. All you'll need to do is you'll need to know your exact SSID, and that is just the name of your wireless as it appears on here. So our wireless SSID is this one here, and you'll need to know your password as well. So all we'll do is we'll type this in, and it is case sensitive, and we'll type in our password as well. We'll click back in this box, and you can see that the connect button has come up red to say that we've got the right information in there. So we'll press connect. Now this will take a minute or two to connect, and while that's connecting, I'll go through the three main reasons why this would perhaps not work. The first is if your IT department has your SSID, so this particular broadcast, hidden. So the reason for doing this is so that people can't sort of SSID surf, as they call it, and try and connect to any random wireless. Instead, you have to sort of manually set up your wireless connection on every device individually. It's just sort of like a very simple security option. If that is set up on this, even if you put the exact SSID and password in, it won't connect because of the operating system that the EDI runs on. So if it doesn't connect, it may be because of that. The second reason is if your workplace uses a login portal for your wireless. So if you find that when you connect to the wireless on your phone or your tablet and you have to sign in with a username or password on like a splash screen or something like that, the EDI unit again won't connect to the wireless properly through that. And the third reason is through a security system that some IT companies use called MAC address filtering. And if that is the case, just say those words to your IT team and they'll know what to do if that is indeed the case of it not connecting. But for the most part, if you just have a simple wireless setup that you just type in a username and password into and connect to get to the internet, then this should functionally work. What you'll also notice is once it has successfully connected, it will kick you off the EDI unit. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to reconnect to it, so you can see it's kicked us off because it's connected to our wireless. And then we'll go back to our 192.168.12.1 address. There we go, and go back to settings, and if we go down to the wireless connection, it now says status connected, so we can see it's now connected to our home wireless. So what we can do now is we can take this IP address, because at the moment we can't connect to the internet because we're connected to the EDI, but now it's connected to our wireless. We can copy this, disconnect from the EDI, and connect to our actual wireless that's got internet connection. So we're now connected to that, and instead of putting in the 192.168.12.1 address, we're going to put this address in from now on, so that we can access it on any computer that's connected to our work wireless, and not only monitor the device from all of our computers, but also be able to connect to the internet at the same time. So we can see there it's now working and it's now functioning on our home wireless, and it's perfectly happy. So it's well worth bookmarking whatever this IP address will become. Depending on your wireless, this address will not be the same for everyone. It gets assigned randomly depending on what your router IP address are. They can be completely different. It can be wildly different from this, but it will always be the same once it's connected once. So just bookmark whatever it says there. we'll just go through the last few things. This is the pairing procedure that you can use if you have an air tracker device, the add-on kit that we talked about earlier. You just press that pairing procedure button and press the pairing button on the air tracker, and then it will connect. Date and time should already be set on the unit. If you want to download your data after a week or a month or even a year, you can press this download button. It will download a simple CSV that you can open in Excel. You will need to convert that using a spreadsheet that we've got provided for you, and I'll show you how to do that in a separate video. There's a reboot function in case the unit is messing around, and also there's a software update option. For the most part, these will always have the most up-to-date piece of software, but if you've had the unit for a year, 2 years, 3 years, you might find that there is a software update, and there will always be a copy of that update in a link that we will provide to you. But for the most part, we'll show you how to do that in another video. And then down here, there's just a simple explanation of how that splash screen works when we went back and we clicked on those individual monitoring things. And then down here, we just have the contact details for the company. So hopefully you found this guide useful on setting up your EDI device. If you did struggle, or if you do have any problems, you can contact us with the contact information below, and look out for the other couple of videos on how to update your EDI and how to convert the data.